What's up, you SEO legends? Welcome back to another video. Sometimes it's hard to decide whether to take the SEO path or whether to take the PPC path if you're starting to promote your new business. Today, we're gonna cover both and we're gonna see which one's better for your business. Stay tuned until the end where I'm gonna tell you my personal strategy that I use with my clients. If you're new here, my name is Jaume. I'm head of SEO at a startup here in Barcelona. And in this channel, we cover strategies and tools to help you grow your online business. I'm gonna break down this video into a set of questions to help you understand which strategy makes more sense for your business. The first question that we're gonna go after is the time frame. What time frame do you have? Are you looking for results in the short term or are you looking for results in the long term? The reality is that Google Ads can be short term and can be long term. If you're trying to validate a new business idea or if you're looking for product market fit and you need results really quick, we're gonna go after Google Ads. Google Ads is easy to set up. You can quickly set up a landing page. You can bring traffic to it by targeting specific keywords and you can get traffic the same day. This is extremely useful if you're trying to see if your website even makes sense, if it's converting properly, and if this product even works. PPC is extremely predictable and you can see exactly where your ROI is coming from. PPC is also something that can become long-term if you scale properly and if you keep optimizing into the long term. The reality is that SEO cannot be short-term. SEO can only be long-term. The quickest thing that you can do in terms of SEO is rank well for the Google Map Pack. If you quickly set up a Google My Business, if you add all the necessary info, add your business information to a bunch of directories, making sure that your NAP is correct, and you get a bunch of reviews, you can very easily rank well for the Google Map Pack local section if there isn't too much competition. But the reality is that SEO takes a lot of time. Whether you believe in the Google sandbox effect or not, the reality is that Google doesn't trust brand new sites as much as it trusts older sites. It's hard to come in with a brand new website and compete with people that have been in the space for a really long time. There are ways to get over the sandbox effect. You can produce a lot of really high quality content and be consistent with it, but the reality is that the results are not overnight. There is no quick scheme to SEO. There are people out there that say they can rank your website in a month or two. This is super dangerous and definitely stay away from this. Oftentimes when I'm talking to an SEO client, the minimum contract length that I'm giving is 6 months, just because I understand how long-term this is. Usually my contracts will last between 6 months to a year. And if it's a brand new site, it's gonna be very case by case, but oftentimes it can even be longer than that. Trying to hyper speed things up in SEO is when people start making mistakes. When you start making content that isn't super relevant to your website, and when you start to get really aggressive with links and you end up getting links that can actually hurt your website. So the important thing with SEO is just to be patient, to do things correctly, and to make sure we're not making any mistakes. The second thing that we need to consider is your budget. How much budget do you have? Do you even have enough budget to be spending monthly on PPC? That's a question that we need to consider as well. The reality is that there is a minimum amount that you will need to spend for PPC, while in SEO, you could in reality do things completely free. The minimum that you will need to spend for PPC will be decided by the market. So that will be the CPC of the specific keyword. So the cost per click of that keyword will be dependent on the amount of competition. So how much is someone willing to pay for that keyword? That's something that the market will decide, and that's gonna be the minimum that you will need to spend to see results. Now, how much you invest will also depend on the volume that you're expecting of results. The reality is that PPC is often considered the more expensive strategy in comparison to SEO, but the reality is that it all depends on the ROI. If your PPC campaign is ROI positive and you're spending $1 and making 5 in return, this makes a lot of sense for a local business, and even though it's expensive, it makes sense in terms of the final goal of the business, which is to make money. The reality is that SEO is not cheap either. Someone still needs to write the content, someone needs to optimize your website, and if you're not sure how to do that, that might cost you some money, and someone still needs to look for links. Oftentimes these links, when you're going for sites with high authority, these might get really expensive, hitting the $300, $400, $500 range. But the reality is that once the content is written and once the content is ranking, it can stay there for a very long time and for free. The main difference in terms of budget of SEO is that you could basically do everything for free. If you wrote your own content, if you know how to optimize your website properly, or you have a complete white hat SEO strategy, then things can be completely free. The main thing here is that you're gonna be spending a lot of time writing that content, you're gonna be spending a lot of time looking for links and optimizing your website. And at the end of the day, time is money. So we need to consider both of these things. The third thing that we need to consider is what business model does your business have and what industry are you in? This will be very case by case, so I'm gonna put out a few scenarios and hopefully this helps you guys decide which one makes most sense for you. The first scenario is if you're a local business. For this scenario, I would suggest doing both, getting into PPC and getting into SEO. With local SEO, the extra benefit that we have is that we also have the map pack. So if we can properly optimize for the map pack, we can properly optimize for the SERPs or the organic listings, and we can take over the PPC, we've basically covered a gigantic part of the search results, and we can be an authority for this specific niche. Scenario number 2, we're going to talk about e-commerce. So the most important thing is understanding your cost of acquisition and what's the margin that you have for your products. If you have more of a luxurious product, then you will have high margin to spend on PPC, and it might make sense depending on the cost per click of that specific keyword. SEO always makes sense for e-commerce. There's always a lot of things that you can be writing about and reaching audiences that might not be directly looking for your specific product. So for e-commerce, my conclusion is 100% go for SEO, and PPC will depend on your margin, the cost per click, and how competitive that niche is. A third and final scenario is if you're in the SaaS business. If you have some type of monthly subscription, then you will be able to absorb the cost for PPC if it's a monthly subscription. You might make money on that subscription a few months down the line. With SEO, I would also say 100% yes, but it also depends a lot on the type of innovation that you're bringing to the market. If you're a brand new product and this is a brand new service that people have never heard about, it's going to be really hard to target keywords that don't exist yet. Here, it might make a lot of sense to go after social PPC, right? Here, we can educate the customer on a problem that they might not even know they have. We can see this example happening today in 2021 with AI copywriting tools. So a lot of these tools are pushing hard for social PPC because they know that this product is brand new and a lot of people don't even understand how it works. They don't target SEO because the market for the keywords doesn't exist yet. People still aren't aware that this is a service that they can access. To finish off, what I usually recommend to my clients is to try out everything. There is no golden rule when we're trying out new channels to promote our business. It will be very case by case, but I always recommend trying out everything. It depends a lot on your product. It depends a lot on your margin. It depends a lot on how competitive the niche is. PPC will work if you do proper testing and if you optimize things over time. SEO will work if you're patient and if you think about the user intent in the different steps of the funnel. Social PPC is also extremely powerful if it's a novelty product. So the reality is you need to try everything because there are a lot of channels out there to promote your new website or to promote your brand. There is no golden rule. So that's it, guys. Best of luck out there. If you have any questions, I've added my LinkedIn in the description. If you guys have any recommendations for new videos, drop them in the comment section. Like, subscribe, do the thing. I love you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video.